Greetings and welcome back everyone. If you like these daily crypto analysis videos, hit the like button and subscribe. Please share these videos with your friends to help the channel grow. I'm Crypto Snake, back again to discuss some Bitcoin analysis. And that sure was quite the ride, wasn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Absolutely savage rip from Bitcoin up to 7,700 on Binance, straight from 6,300. Over on the Coinbase chart, we had a little bit of a more reserved pump up from 6,200 up to 6,800. Still, absolutely insane. We broke through the top of the pennant targets for the overall market cycle trend. Now, I'm very likely going to be looking at Coinbase for the rest of this video, as the technical indicators on Coinbase are a little bit more reserved than they are on Binance, which are extremely blown out of proportion. If we flip back to Binance real quick, I'll just show you this. The Kijun went on a straight absolute incline and has settled all the way up here at the 69.40 area. I don't think we're going to get back up there, at least not from this pump. Going back to Coinbase though, if you watch the previous 5 or so videos, I laid out that this was very likely to happen, and boy did it not disappoint. We pulled an average of 90 to 180% gains in the VIP on our long trades, which was over on Ethereum, where we entered this position down here at the bottom, exited, and then re-entered again down below, exiting all the way up at the peak, almost to the digits over on BitMEX, pulling absolutely savage gains. And Ethereum went on an absolute rip as well, all the way down from 195 straight up to 242 on Bitfinex. Now, if you don't know what caused this pump and you're just sitting there absolutely befuddled, screaming manipulation, bog candles, or Illuminati, well, I'm going to go ahead and explain exactly what I laid out in the previous 5 videos that told me exactly what I needed to know that this pump was coming. And for that, we are actually going to have to flip over to the Ethereum shorts chart. The Ethereum shorts, which I've been laying out for a while, we're at an all-time high at 315 or so thousand, and we had just been continually building up pressure. I expected a short squeeze around this level. We continued to build up. That pressure was just building. We go down to the 4 hour, it's a little bit easier to see. You see that we just kept climbing, overextended on the 4 hour RSI. We passed the 70 threshold, which means that it was overbought, which means that the shorts were very likely to come down resoundingly, and the pressure was building for that. My VIPs know how absolutely exhausting it was waiting for this to drop as we continued up, hitting the 87, even up to the 90 almost level on the RSI, with a lot of fake outs where we would see a nice increase on Ethereum and then drop right back down. Another fake out, building up more pressure on this RSI, and then boom, straight to the floor, straight to the oversold territory. And if we move down to the hourly, in the previous video, I also laid out on the shorts that we had broken into this hourly cloud. I gave out the warning right around here that we were very likely to see a massive price increase as the pressure built. We smashed right through this cloud and continued down before finding a little bit of support after all of these short positions were liquidated. And if we flip over to the Rekt, BitMEX Rekt Twitter account, which is basically a bot that monitors the liquidations over on the BitMEX exchange, which is for long and shorting, you can see just the amount of liquidations that happened on Bitcoin. $1 million, $5 million, $1.6 million. This all happened in a very fast amount of time. If we flip back to the Bitcoin chart, we can take a look at this. Look at this absolutely savage pump from 6,400 up to 6,800, 6,750 or so. When we reached this point, I still knew that the short squeeze was not done yet, and a lot of people were saying, oh, short it. And I do feel really bad for the people who started shorting this and calling this the top, because it was absolutely not the top, and almost guaranteed if you shorted from this location, you got liquidated on this next pump up. Now, I know there were a lot of crypto experts in the space who were irresponsibly calling for people to open shorts in this location, saying that, oh, no, we're definitely not going to get a Bart Simpson formation out of this. Look, we have a rising wedge coming here. This Bart Simpson was absolutely foretold. If we flip over to the Coinbase chart, you can see how textbook this Bart Simpson formation is. Not only that, if we have a massive drop like this, you should always expect there to be some sort of correction back up. This candle down was not exactly natural. It was built up from pressure of consistently building and testing this top and building those higher lows. So when we broke out with force from this location, I knew that we would find some support on the lower pennant, which we broke back in successfully, and then reacted to this by liquidating a whole bunch of shorts heading up to this. So where do I see Bitcoin or Ethereum going from here? At the moment, the indicators are entirely mixed. Going to have to wait for a couple more candles to post before I can really get a good judge on it. However, I will say that shorts are overextended now into the oversold territory, so we are very likely to get more shorts opened and drop from this position. But I will say also on Bitcoin longs, we are also in the oversold territory. It's also possible that we may just trade sideways up to the pennant before potentially breaking back down and restricting into this range that I laid out. But as for Bitcoin and Ethereum, I am still waiting for the market to settle, and it isn't giving any clear indication of where it wants to go. But just based on my lessons from previous pumps, and if you're an experienced trader, you know that when things pump up like this, they very often tend to trend downwards. And both Bitcoin and Ethereum are heading for these gigantic cloud positions where we're very likely to trend through and see a little bit of a downturn. So before I get on with some interesting news stories today, if you'd like to join my free Telegram for insights on the market, including Bitcoin, altcoins, and a sneak peek to my personal entries and exits, join t.me/cryptosneakpeek. Links directly to the chat and a link on how to install Telegram, which is a free chat program I use to communicate with my VIPs, in the description below. I've also launched my official Twitter, so follow me at CryptoSnakeVIP to get regular updates. We've also been pulling some savage gains in the VIP on leverage trades and altcoins. I've given out a list of potentially discount altcoins that plan to ride for the bull run to my VIPs, which I think is coming very, very, very soon, as well as some hot altcoin swing positions every week. If you want information on how to get into the VIP group to be part of these trades, the information is also in the description below. So on to the news. Binance pauses Tether withdrawals after denying delist rumor. This was very, very interesting to me. Tether has had a lot of FUD, and the Tether price has also dropped very significantly. However, this is probably the most laughable attempt to FUD Tether, and I do not understand how anyone fell for this. But a photo was circling around the crypto space, and this is the... And if this is not the most childish and easiest to spot Photoshop I have ever seen. Couple things wrong with this. One, Binance 1 minute ago. You're telling me they took this screenshot within 1 minute? First of all, that's unlikely. Second of all, it says Tether big scam. If anyone had taken the time to read this, they probably would not have panicked. So that was just something funny I found. Hopefully this FUD will blow over for Tether. Tether actually released a statement today as well, announcing a transparency update, basically stating that all Tethers in circulation are absolutely fully backed by the USD reserves, full stop. There's been a lot of speculations about Tether not being one-to-one with the US dollar, and there's been a lot of private investigations confirming that it is actually one-to-one backed with USD reserves. Personally, I don't think that's true. I think they pay these people to do that. However, I think the FUD is otherwise unfounded. I don't think it has any real effect on the marketplace other than when they want to pump up Bitcoin. There was no Tether pump for this. This was literally just people overextending their positions on the short squeeze, which gave us this gigantic pump. Somebody down here was a degenerate gambler, went 100x short on something that they couldn't afford, shorting the bottom, got absolutely wrecked, caused a chain reaction, sending most of that money from that exchange straight back into the coin, causing massive price increases. Now another story, price of stable cryptocurrency Tether tanks to 18-month low. This is basically just highlighting what I laid out, that Tether took a massive drop from a lot of this FUD that's been going around. Frankly, I think it will blow over. I'm not really concerned about it. What I'm more concerned about is Binance, which again, Binance flying up to the 7,700 area and staying so high above the price range of the other exchanges leads me to believe that something is going to occur. I am not quite sure what, but I'm sure Binance is going to adjust something that is going to cause this price to drop down and equalize towards the other one, as the arbitration bots have not been doing their job. So as for the overall market health of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin dominance actually has not moved that much, which is another reason I don't think this pump was manipulation. And as I laid out, it was just a short squeeze because that money was already out of the market on these short contracts ready to be pumped back in. Now, if we look at the overall market cap, we gained about $11 billion. So $11 billion was funneled back into Bitcoin from these shorts closing. That is astronomical to think about. Now, some of this was just straight from the short squeeze. Some more of it was people FOMOing in up at the top, which obviously increases that price even further. But just to think that $11 billion could go into the crypto space in under 4 hours is absolutely insane and makes me extremely hyped for the bull run. And speaking of the bull run, a lot of people on Twitter are claiming that we have started the bull run as we have broken out of this. Now, I'm not saying that we haven't broken into the bull run, but I am saying that I am going to have to wait for more confirmation, because the size of this candle was very large, but it's also historically not that large for Bitcoin. Just to put this in perspective, we had 2 of these back in July, these massive pumps up. And even if you take the full width of this isn't the largest that we've seen on Bitcoin, as you can see from January. But it is definitely a very, very large coin, and the pressure was building for this breakout. So have we broken out? We did break out of the pennant on Binance. However, we are actually back in the pennant position on Coinbase, so I do believe that we are going to side trend some more before breaking out. And I think people who long at the top on this position are very likely to get burned. As you can see, this broke down heavily. A lot of these people who were longing from up here probably also got liquidated in the opposite direction. I think it's better to wait for confirmation and see a nice steady climb moving up before actually hopping into any positions long term, especially with the way this is an absolute Bart Simpson candle of the long squeeze followed by the short squeeze. The good news is now that this pressure has been alleviated, the price can actually start returning to where it should be and could very well just side trend from here and stick with this pattern. For the moment, I am just going to deal with this wick as an outlier, and I don't actually count that as an official break of the pennant. So that's it for today's technical analysis. If you do make any trades today, I wish you luck. Please join me in my free Telegram at t.me/cryptosnakebit, where I give up-to-the-minute updates on Bitcoin and my personal exits and entries for the private VIP group. Also included is our private VIP chat, where you can chat with many of our experienced savage traders, get personal technical analysis from me, and answer any questions you might have. This is CryptoSnake, signing off.